And welcome in to Frickers in Fremont on this Wednesday night as we get ready for Week 9 of the high school football season. Kyle Knight, your host this week, and coming up, we'll have Josh Waring, as you can see right here, if you're watching the live stream, which we'll tell you how you can watch that here in just a moment. Then we'll talk playoffs and the Week 10 scenarios in the SBC with my buddy Nick coming up. Then Ryan Carter from Clyde will join us, and we'll finish off the show with Chad Long of Fremont Ross. So we'll talk St. Joe, Clyde, Fremont Ross, and all the area high school football as we are in week number 9 already. Wow.
Yep.
It's hard to believe. I know building stuff at Perkins, we're in our final week of the quarter already, which is really hard to believe. Yep. And that would be almost all the schools. So if you're on 9 weeks, you're pretty much at the end of it already.
I would think so.
It's funny when we get to this point. It's like, how did we get here, right, Josh?
Yeah, it's quick. I mean, where did October go? I mean, it's almost over, and it's almost Halloween, and you got the holidays coming. So where did the summer and where did the early fall go? So yeah.
So Josh Waring joining me, St. Joe football, and it's just that fun time of year. But we start. And the 10 weeks are gone before you know it. And the rest of the year seems like those 40 weeks take forever to get back to high school football season
sure
again.
Does. Yep.
Wow. Well, before we talk about your season so far, how much have you enjoyed this experience with St. Joe and bringing them to 8-man football this year?
It's been great. The kids really have taken to it, and it's been a really good experience. It's not easy. It's challenging with some of the strategy and things like that, but it's going pretty well, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
And you obviously picked up a really nice win over Stryker on Friday, 38-6. Let me mention to everybody that we are here at Frickers in Fremont. We want everybody to stop on by, and tonight, of course, they have their big steak special that you can have. The steak meal is the special tonight for $7.99. That includes a side and a roll. Plus, tomorrow night, you'll have chicken chunk meal for $7.99. Monday is boneless chicken wings here at Frickers, and Tuesday, bone-in wings for 89 cents. Boneless wings Mondays for 79 cents. So let's break down the win and talk about it.
It was our senior night, and so the seniors, put the team on their backs, and we knew we had to contain one of their players. He's an exceptional athlete, number 2, and we were able to do that. He got loose, and he's extremely proficient at scrambling and extending the play, and he caught us on a pass, and one long pass, and that's really, we shut him down for the rest of the game.
So were they up on you?
No, not at all.
Oh,
no.
Okay. No,
we were up 14
when they scored. That's what I meant.
Yeah, we were we were up 14-0 in 3 plays.
Okay.
In 3 plays. Ethan Grawl. So they tried to onside kick it. Ethan Grawl picked it up, and he is our fastest player, and he's one of the people on the line. Picked it up, gone. No, he wasn't ever touched, anything. He
That's
just
awesome.
It right up.
I've seen that once or twice. It's a fun play to see. Yeah. Okay.
And
so you're up 6-0 before
correct.
You know it?
And then we kicked off, and I was trying to tell our kicker, Matthew Connell, where to kick the ball, and he slipped, and he kicked an onside kick, and we recovered it.
So he accidentally kicked
kicked an onside kick. We recovered. Next play, we scored a touchdown. So
okay, real quick.
Yep.
In all your years of coaching, have you ever accidentally onside kicked before?
No, I didn't want him to kick it deep
right.
to number 2. He's a very good player, and I would line up on the sideline exactly where I wanted him to kick it. And he did not kick it right. But it started out that way, and it just rolled from there. It just seems like the games that we win, we get going right away, and things go our way.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened on last Friday.
How good
Saturday.
A feeling is that, Josh?
It's a great feeling. It's for the kids. You see it in their eyes. I'm like, man, this is great. You can finally see some of the fruits of their labor coming to fruition, and getting a win, and taking this thing where we want to take it.
So as you were up, those 2 scores, and the kids are just so confident. I bet that was probably one of the funnest Friday nights you've had so far.
We set the tone with those first 2 plays, and it was game. I don't want to say game over, but I mean, we just had that momentum, and we knew, we gave ourselves some padding right there, and it helped immensely, and we were able to shut them down offensively, and and we got some guys in there, that haven't played much, and it was a great night. It was a great senior night. The way to send those seniors out.
Right, and I'm sure practice has been pretty good this week, huh?
This week hasn't been bad. It's been pretty good. We had a bye week last week, and so getting prepared for Danbury. You know, it's a rematch game.
Right.
So, yeah, we've, been focused on that. But then, last week we sort of took some things easy to try to get some people healthy, make sure all those little dings and, things like that are taken care of. And we're in a good place right now.
Yeah, so you have Danbury Friday night.
Correct.
And then you finish up at Toledo Christian.
Yep.
Danbury's a team you've actually met already, and you played a pretty close game. It was 30-18.
It was. They hit us on 3 big plays in the first half, and we have to, address that, and we did. But second half we won 18-6, so we know we can play with them, and we know what we have to do to be successful this Friday.
Yeah, and the next week you went out and got your first win over McKinley.
Correct.
After that.
Yep.
So this is a game the kids already know. We can play with these guys.
Absolutely.
We just can't make mistakes like we did last time.
The team that's, better prepared and more mentally tough and really doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't make mistakes, that's the team that's going to win.
Let me mention, we are here live at Frickers in Fremont, and I also forgot to tell them how to watch the live stream.
Sure.
All you have to do is go to the Eagle 99 Facebook page, and Nick, thank you, put up the link earlier. Nick Roth, he'll be joining me here in about 10 minutes, talk a little high school football and some playoff stuff. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I look at the Joe Edel website.
Joe
as
Idle,
well,
yeah, he's wonderful.
And it's great just to see.
We've seen Edison. We've seen
boy.
Perkins this year.
Yeah.
And
did you see that
we saw
game itself?
Huron. No, we did not get to see
the 15-14 game.
No, we didn't see that one. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
sure.
Yeah, but we've seen a lot of really good teams this year because we do Clyde and Bellevue on the Wolf.
Sure.
So it's the SPC is really loaded this year.
They are.
My gosh, it's top to bottom, like all 3 divisions.
Sure.
Hopewell and Gibsonburg's having great years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then in the middle, you've actually got Willard, Huron, and who am I forgetting?
Margaret. Yeah.
No. Willard, Huron. Nick, help me out. In the middle division, Vermilion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about. That's why it's hard to forget about Vermilion because they're having a great year.
They are.
And then of course, Perkins, Clyde's having a really good year.
Yep.
Sandusky, up until last week, was having they had lost a couple games and then won several in a row. So.
Yeah. They've come around as well. It's what the nice thing about our situation is you got St. Mary's, Danbury. We're technically in the SBC for other sports.
You are, yes.
So it's really when we play those guys, it's not only in Northern 8. It's really representing our school, St. Joe, in the SBC.
It's kind of funny you say that. I think about they miss out playing like Woodmore, in Gibsonburg, but really they don't because they play them in every other sport except football.
We see all those guys.
Yeah.
And someday maybe we'll see.
So
them again.
true to word, you are an SVC team. You just play football in a different division.
Correct.
You're like Notre Dame, where you're in the ACC, except when you play
I
football.
know.
So let's talk about the road trip over
Sure.
to Danbury and looking at them. And so, what do they do well? What are you going to have to defend the most this Friday night?
They do a great job of play action. And, they'll try to run it everywhere, and they do a good job at that. They've got power sets where they, try to run it inside, outside. And just when you think you got that stop, they'll go over the top on us. And that's what happened in our first game. They've got, a couple nice receivers. Quarterback's very good. And quarterback's got a nice arm. He throws it to number 8 and, on the dime. So we have to be really aware where those guys are. And, they give us some things based on formation, what they're going to do. But, our guys.
So they tip a lot what they're doing?
I don't want to say that.
Okay.
But,
okay, I'm sorry.
Because, there's only so many things you can do.
Right,
but,
right.
Every team has tendencies.
Yeah.
And some teams just line up and say, you know what we're going to do, stop us kind of deal. But they do a good job of disguising what they're trying to do. Yeah.
Josh Waring joining me, the head coach, St. Joe Footballs. They get ready to take on the Danbury Lakers on Friday night. That's a really cool setting over there.
It is great over there, yep.
It's pretty much on the lake. It's not on the lake, but it's close enough to on the lake, but really nice facility. Now, they still have grass over there.
They do have grass,
How
which is nice.
How many times have you played on grass this year? More than one?
Yeah. We on our away game. Let's just see.
Here's your away
games. All right.
St.
So
Mary's, no.
They're turf. Danbury was home. McKinley was home.
How about Chalker?
Chalker's grass.
Okay.
Holgate's grass as well.
So your road games are basically grass.
That was a hurricane game for the most part. The Holgate game. It was really bad.
Was
weather
that during Milton or the
no,
one?
Helene, I
Helene,
believe, something like that.
Is that the one the night we were doing the Shelby Bellevue game? It was just
Yes.
the rain the whole time. It must have been the same
It
time.
was terrible,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I remember that week. So
And Stryker, we played them at home, but they got a grass field too. So.
okay,
And Christian, they played at 3 different places. They'll play at Bowser. They'll play at Waite sometimes. They'll play one of the other schools. But most of the time they'll play on grass unless they're playing. There's another one that they play on that's turf. So
is it? Oh, it's. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's
Scott, maybe?
it's on your way to Detroit. One of the and it's like right off of 75 there. I know
Sure.
what you're talking about. So, did I ever tell you my St. Joe story? So St. Joe opened the season several years ago on the road,
Okay.
and they played at one of the Toledo schools. That's there in Clay.
Stritch?
Yes.
Yeah, Cardinal Stritch.
So we played on their soccer field though.
Okay.
So we didn't play at Clay like we should have,
Sure.
or whatever that other school that we're kind of trying to remember the name for. So they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to play there. We don't have power or anything. I said, well, we're going to broadcast the game. So they're like, if we run a cord, can you get us power, right? Well, all told, I ended up being on top of the Eagle 99 van.
Okay.
It's Labor Day week, so it was beautiful. It was a beautiful Saturday. And for 3 hours, I sat up there and broadcast the St. Joe football game. And I was never more happy to get off that van.
I would imagine.
But
Sure.
the St. Joe band serenaded me to go off the broadcast. So I thought that was great.
Awesome.
But that was a fun experience
It's
to
funny
do
the
that.
things you remember and you experience doing this long enough.
Well, I've done this 30 years.
Yeah,
I've
there you
never
go.
done that.
Yeah.
But it was a fun experience. I wouldn't want to do it again, but
Sure.
it was fun. But I was wondering, like, obviously you guys have media coverage in St. Mary's and Danbury. Do any of these other schools?
Yeah,
get
Holgate did a very good job. I mean, I had the gentleman call me,
The radio guy?
The radio guy called me 2 or 3 days before.
Great.
And, wanted some information. And so it was.
So there is some press out there.
there
is
is.
what I'm,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Because we want – I really think if this continues to grow, and we've talked about it,
Yep.
the N8, the Northern 8,
Yep.
used to have – I think it was 2 schools maybe when they started the first year, but
Right.
now it's up to 8 schools. So you have Toledo Christian,
Mm-hmm.
St. Mary's, Holgate, Chalker, Danbury, St. Joe's, McKinley, and Stryker. Do you see anybody else
I do.
joining in the
And
near
actually,
future?
I had a coach that we scrimmaged this year, text me and ask me for information about it. I still haven't got back to him, there's definitely interest. I think it's definitely going to grow. I would expect it to grow at least by 2 teams, for the next couple of years.
Well, playing 11-man football is hard for
It is.
for the smaller schools.
It is.
Just is.
It's a numbers issue.
Right.
And it's a safety issue for the kids as well.
Right. I've been a proponent that St. Joe should do this for the last couple of years, and I've actually been kind of boisterous about it.
Sure.
But not that anybody listens to me. But the point is, I thought the kids would have a much better experience, and I think what you've proven this year is you're having that much better
We are.
experience, right?
Yeah, we are. It's been a good move so far. Obviously, we're not where we want to be as a program yet, but we know what it takes to win in the Northern 8, and we got our focus on that. We're already putting together off-season things to take care of business in the
Yeah.
future. So the attitude around the entire program is very positive, and we wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a good experience.
Josh Waring joining me, St. Joe coach. We talked about Danbury, and then you finish up with Toledo Christian. I want to talk about them because they're the power, right? The perennial.
They are.
So I don't want a scouting report. And you
Sure.
played St. Mary's twice. Do Toledo Christian and St. Mary's play this week by any chance?
I believe they do.
Okay, that would be because
Yeah.
they're both undefeated.
Right.
So that would be an interesting matchup. But what makes Toledo Christian so good?
Well, if you watch film, and I've watched film on them, with other teams, looking at other teams when they've played them. Well, they've got 35, 40 kids on the sideline.
Oh my gosh!
So,
And you have what?
and
18.
you just think where they're located. The kids that don't go to Central Catholic or St. John's or St. Francis, they probably go to Toledo Christian. So
Yes. They recruit very well.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just
But I
saying.
can.
But it's just they've got a talented group, and the coaches do a great job. I mean, they have like 10, 12 coaches that I've seen on the sideline because I won the state championship last year against them. They do. I mean, you go out there and you
How
see
many
when they
coaches
warm
do
up.
you have other than you?
2.
2.
Yeah,
One in the booth, one on the sideline.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have 12 for
Well,
8-man football.
yeah. So They may not have 12, but they have a lot.
Right. Okay, you brought it up, and
Yep.
I was going to ask you about this
Sure.
since this will be the last time I see you.
Yeah.
This is my last show. Tim will do the one next week. But so what's your plan for the offseason to take this to the next level for St. Joe football?
Well, we have to try to get as many people in the building that want to play football, or get them out. If we can get any more athletes out for football, that's great. That's number one. Number two, we've just got to get physically stronger and increase our football IQ. I've mentioned that before. How do you get better? You got to get better physically, mentally, and you got to understand the game a little bit better. We're going to lose 4 players, but really we've got probably the heart and soul of our team for the last 2 years, Matthew Connell. He's going to be almost impossible to replace.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of people coming back. Everyone's vested in the program. They can't wait to get started on the off-season stuff. And I said, hey guys, we got
let's get through the
games
next
here.
2 weeks.
How about we put a W on Danbury and see what happens with Christian. So
right.
But no, we're happy where we're at, and we're on the right path. That's it's nice to have some reassurance that you're on the right path, and I think we're definitely taking the right steps.
So you talked about Matthew Connell.
Yes, and then Tristan Obregon too.
Yeah.
He's going to be really hard to replace on the line, and Robin Alcacer, and Oliver Wright as well. Yeah, I mean he's a starting receiver for us. He's dealt with some injuries here and there. I feel terrible for him, but he's fighting through it. Even today, he's fighting through it. So, yeah, I mean those are 4 really solid guys, and just like everyone says, next man up kind of deal. But we have to move forward, and but
that's a sad reality.
It
isn't
is.
It?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's gonna bother me a lot.
I get it.
Yeah,
yes.
it's gonna bother me to lose those guys. But I got them for the next foreseeable future, and the nice thing, we're also hosting the 8-man championship here in Fremont.
Oh, are you?
We are.
Okay,
at
so
the
talk
stadium.
about that then, please.
Yeah, it came up about a week ago. The athletic director, asked if I would help out and things like that, and said that we were able to host the 8-man championship on the 16th.
So Don Paul Stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I think that's a great idea to go to different locations to spread spread the awareness of 8-man football, and what a beautiful facility for.
We have a great facility.
They played at Liberty Center last year, which is a great facility as well. But I mean, I'll take our stadium over just about anyone's.
And I love Don Paul. It's a great
Absolutely.
place to watch, and obviously a great place to broadcast
Yeah.
a game or coach a game, right?
I'll be writing notes.
Yeah.
Even though we've played these guys.
Right. That's wonderful that
yeah.
we get to host that this year. That's really cool. Well, Josh, it's been great
Sir,
to know
thank
you
you.
this
Yeah,
year,
same here,
and I'll
same
be
here.
seeing you next football season, of course.
Absolutely.
And it's been really great to know. And I'm telling you, I really love the direction you're heading
Sure.
the St. Joe football program. So, from a guy who's seen it the last several years,
Yep.
and I'm happy for what you're doing.
We've got a chance to win 2 games in a row. That's the first time that's happened since 2016.
Yes, I was
It
probably
is. I
doing
looked
those
at it,
games.
but,
yeah, actually, I was doing those
So
games.
we got
So
a chance to do some things,
what was
especially this week.
Like the best record in recent history is like
Well,
4-6 or 5-5.
was
Yeah.
2018
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, and that's when we had the twins, the brothers, who played quarterback, but they were really good basketball players. And for right now, it's just escaping me.
Harrison, perhaps,
the
or
McKinstry, maybe. No, I can't think of it. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
drawing a
fine.
blank.
Fair
But
enough.
anyway, St. Joe fans will
Yeah.
be like they're yelling at the radio
Yeah.
right now. It's
I
these
know, you should
kids.
know
Yeah.
that, sure.
But these kids were like 6'7", and they played quarterback back to. It was pretty. Yeah. Anyway, good athletes. So
Very good.
All right. Well, get out and you can get to Danbury if you're a St. Joe fan. Not a bad road trip, and
That's
Friday
not.
night's gonna be a beautiful night. So
should be.
well,
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, good luck to the Streaks, and hopefully you pick up back-to-back wins.
Oh,
So-
I hope so. Thank you, sir, for
all
having
right,
us.
Josh
for having
Waring,
me.
St. Joe. We'll be back after this. You're listening to the Frickers of Fremont High School Football Coaches Show here on Eagle 99. is that? Well, it's too late now. Hey, welcome back into Frickers in Fremont on our high school football coaches show, week number 10, coming up Friday night. My name is Kyle Knight. Nick Roth is joining me. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Nick joins me every Friday night for the broadcast on 92.1 The Wolf, our sister station. We'll have Clyde and Norwalk this week.
That'll be a good one.
We had a great game last week, Huron and
sure
Clyde.
did.
Oh, that was an interesting contest. Huron kind of controlled the first half, and then Clyde took over in the second half.
Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, we were due for a really good game, and it wasn't high scoring, but it was really, really, really good, pure football. I mean, the execution on both sides was great, and you're right. You know, in the first half, it was kind of an even battle. I mean, Huron actually looked like they had the upper hand.
Right.
And then I joked at the in the second half. I said, "Did these teams switch jerseys at halftime?"
That's
'Cause
what it looked like. Yeah.
I mean, it looked like the complete opposite.
Right.
The script was flipped, and Clyde owned the second half and then owned the game. But yeah, it was really fun.
Clyde can thank their defense, though, for keeping them in the first half.
Oh, yes.
With a pick in the red zone and a couple special teams blocked kicks, which we'll talk to Ryan about here later on. But why don't we take this time? Why don't you tell everybody, Nick, first of all, what's happening on the network Friday night?
All right.
And I will mention, we still got to talk to. We're going to talk to Ryan Carter coming up at about 7:40. Clyde football, and then we'll talk with Chad Long to finish off Fremont Ross at 8. But right now, Nick and I are just going to kind of over the playoff scenarios for our area teams, and we'll tell you what's happening on the network on Friday night.
All right, on the BAS Sports Network this week for Week 10, our regular season finale, Ross at Bowling Green is going to be right here on Eagle 99. And then Kyle and I will have the game on 92.1 The Wolf. That's Clyde at Norwalk. And then on WMJK Coast Country 100.9, Edison at Huron. That's a good game right there.
Yeah, that'll be a really
That'll
good
be
game.
one people want to tune into for sure. That's a great one. On WLAC 1450 AM, 93.5 FM, Columbian at Perkins. WTTF, our Tiffin station, FM 93.3 AM 1600, Hopewell Loudon at Calvert. And then, of course, on Saturday on WLAC 1450, 93.5 FM, Toledo Christian at St. Mary Central Catholic 8-man football.
All right, so that's what's coming up on the network. All right, so let's just kind of break down. This is Week 10, so these there could be lots of changes in these playoff, and there will be.
Yes.
But some teams have locked up playoff spots, others have not. We'll start high and we'll go low, okay? So we'll start in Division 2, which would be Fremont Ross. They are in Division 2, Region 6. Right now, the Little Giants are right at the cusp at number 16.
On the bubble.
Right, so the top 16 teams make the playoffs, and Ross does control their own destiny according to, well, nope, they don't. Start controls their own destiny, not Fremont Ross. I misread that. But they have a game this week that should they win, that will help them a lot with Bowling Green.
Yeah, they got a game this week that they really need to win. And talking with Scott Logan earlier, he's the sideline guy for the Fremont Ross Little Giants, and he says that, you know, this week is a really, really big game. He wasn't guaranteeing a win or anything like that, but he was like, if they could go to Bowling Green and get a win, they could go to the playoffs. And Chad Long
and not have to go to Avon.
And not have to go to Avon. I'm sure Chad Long will talk with you about that later. But yeah, it's a big game for the Little Giants.
So here's an interesting stat. So right now in Region 6, Division 2, Sandusky currently sitting 10th, and St. Francis is 11th. And those are obviously two teams that Clyde have played this year. That's their only two losses, and they come to Division 2 teams.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, and they do also have a win over Division 2 Start, who is one position ahead of Fremont Ross right now. They're the ones, by the way, Start, who controls their own destiny. So that's a look at Division 2. I don't think we have anybody in Division 3, right? So we'll move on to Division 4, Region 14. Now, this is where a lot of our schools lie, okay? This is where you got Perkins, Clyde, pretty much most of the SBC resides in this region. So Perkins is currently number 1 in the region. Now, Clyde, with their win, they went from number 8 all the way to number 5 last week, Nick.
Which is crazy.
Now,
That's
here's
a
the
crazy
cool thing.
jump.
According to Joe Idle, with a win, they could still get to the 4 spot, or they could finish 11th.
Yeah, 4 to 11. That's
and if they lose,
ridiculous.
it's 4 to 12.
Yeah.
So they could still be 4 by by losing, but that's not. You see what these crazy
Oh, yeah.
scenarios
I
are,
mean,
right? So
I couldn't even. I can't believe
Yeah.
that Joe Idle does all this. I couldn't sit there and calculate one team doing
so
that.
and Clearview, the team ahead of them, that's the one team where they could jump them.
Yeah.
They also control their own destiny. And Clearview right now, I was looking at them this week. They're 7-2. They play Brookside this week. There's their wins, okay? Fairview, 34-0. Fairview is Fairview is the only team with a winning record, but they're also Division 5. Lakewood, who's 4-5, they beat them. McDonald, who's I guess McDonald's also has a winning record, 6-3. But you see what I'm saying? 0-9, 3-6, 3-6, 4-5.
Yeah.
And when they did play Keystone last week, who is 8-1, the final score was 7-6, and they lost the game.
Wow.
So who knows, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
So right now, Lorraine is one spot ahead. That's Clearview ahead of Clyde. Also, as we look down here, other schools who Bellevue currently sitting 21st. Vermilion is currently 7th.
Yeah,
that's
good for
crazy.
Them. Good. I mean, that Vermilion's going to be rocking no matter where they have to travel.
Right. So
they're going to travel. How long has it been?
The SBC could have 3 home playoff teams next week from Friday.
That just tells you how good the competition is in the SBC. I mean,
that's crazy.
You can't take a night off. You can't take a week off in the SBC.
And Vermilion didn't even play Perkins or Clyde.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, so that's Division 4. Now, Division 5, where a lot of our schools also lie from the SBC in Region 18.
Now, hold on one second.
Yes, sir.
I do want to bring something up about Division 3 because we don't have teams that we cover that are in the playoffs in Division 3, but we are doing the Clyde and Norwalk game this week. And I was looking at Norwalk standings in Division 3, Region 10.
Oh, that's right. They are in Division 3.
They are the Division 3, Region 10, and I just wanted to look and see where they were in playoff positioning, not really expecting them to be in the picture because they're 2-7 right now. They are 15th in their region.
And
they
they're
are
Division 3.
And they're Division 3, and they're set to go to the playoffs.
Hey, can I mention something?
Yeah.
Do you know all those schools that didn't want Fremont Ross in the SBC?
Yeah.
Sandusky's Division 2 now.
Yep.
You're having schools that are getting bigger
Mm-hmm.
than Fremont. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just a little
saying.
shade being thrown there.
Yep,
Mike,
just saying. Okay, let's move over here. This is where you have Oak Harbor, Edison. This is Division 5, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Division 5, what's the region? 18. Edison, great year, right?
Fantastic.
Went over Perkins, obviously.
Fantastic.
They're number 1 in the region. I think they're pretty safe.
They're
going to
good.
have 2 home playoff games.
They're good. They're expecting big things
Yeah.
this postseason.
Now, the great thing is Oak Harbor and Edison could meet up.
Oh, man.
Wow, eventually.
I would go, even if we're not going to broadcast that game, which depends on how our area schools do, I wouldn't take the night off to go watch it, but I would really be tempted to.
That's a really good game
That
right
would
there.
be a fantastic game.
Now, I'm going to mention this just because it affects me, but Norwayne right now in Division 5, Region 18. So Norwayne out of the Wayne County Athletic League, they are currently sitting in that 5 spot. They're 8-1. They play 9-0 Hillsdale, my alma mater, this week.
Yeah.
So that would be a lot of computer points right there.
Yeah.
But the thing about for Norwayne, Hillsdale is a 7.
Yeah.
So that's not going to help them
No,
much at all. Where
not
if
at
Hillsdale would win, they get Division 5 points.
Yeah,
that would
boost them
help.
up.
Let's
Not that they
see.
need, I'm sure Hillsdale's first. in their
Genoa
region.
currently sitting 10th in
Yep.
Division 5 in our region here. Fostoria 22nd, and Willard currently sitting 24th. So that's Division 5. We'll move on to Division 6. Did Gibsonburg, are they 7 this year? or
Gibsonburg is
6?
7.
Okay.
Yes.
Some years they're 6, some years they're
Yeah,
7.
it depends.
Hopewell currently sitting number 1 in Division 6, Region 22. Now, Hopewell's had a great year, Nick.
Yes, they always do.
They
Hopewell
do.
Always has a great year.
So they're 8-0. Who they got this week? Let me look. Oh, they're playing Calvert in their final game this week. Huron, this is kind of interesting. Huron's only 4th.
For a team that's so good, you would expect them to be a
But
little
there's
higher.
still 2 playoff game scenario. Woodmore still sitting 12th.
Yeah, good for Woodmore.
They've had a really good
They
year.
really have.
They're sitting 4-4, which is by far the most wins they've had in a year in a long time. And let's see. I see Mapleton here and down at 21, New London at 24, and that's about it in that. So now let's move on to 7. And this is where we'll find Gibsonburg and some other area schools. Gibsonburg, Division 7, Region 26. Boy, the Golden Bears sitting really pretty right now.
They really are.
Number 3
What an
spot.
impressive year. You got to give credit to those kids and Coach
Yeah.
Joe Wyant for having such a great year. After a year, last year wasn't bad for them at all, but it was middle of the road, not what they're used to. And
Yeah, 2 years ago they had the great run
yes,
with Connor.
Yeah,
and then last year they still had, but this year they're really
they're
having
back
a good
again,
year.
and they're really having a great year.
7-2, and so with a win they could go to 2 to 7 or 3 to 7. They'll be anywhere between 2 and 7. And for Gibsonburg, they finish up with Corey Rawson. I saw that earlier this week, so that's not going to help them that much. Let's see. They're the only team in that region in 7.
I think they might be the only team in the division that we cover, at least.
They are, actually. Oh, everyone else is in 25. That's why Division 7, 25. That's where you find Western. That's not the right Western Reserve. Monroeville currently sitting 3rd, right behind Hillsdale is number 2. I can't believe Hillsdale 9. They've never been 10-0 in school history.
Well, hopefully they can finish it out.
That would be wonderful if they can. St. Paul currently sitting 11th.
Yeah.
Which they're only 5-4. Lucas, who's sort of in the area, is 5-4. Plymouth is 2-7. They're down at the 21 spot. So I think St. Paul's clearly in. Your brother plays for St. Paul. You've seen them several times.
Well, they play Monroeville this week, and if everything stays the same right now, they would play Monroeville 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
Yes.
But that's
which
happened
has happened before.
Yeah,
yes,
it
happened when I was in high school. Yeah.
It actually happened when I worked over there once or twice. So.
He's pumped up for the game. Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be a good one. I'm holding my breath on that, but I hope it'll be a good one.
Is it at Monroeville?
It is. It's at Marshfield in Monroeville. Yes.
Okay. Well, you'll be with me Friday night.
I will be.
So.
I'll get to hear all about it, though.
All right. When we come back, why don't we talk some Clyde football, Nick? Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We'll talk with Coach Ryan Carter after we take this time out. Don't forget you can watch us as well. Just go to the Eagle 99 Facebook page, click on the live link, and you'll find the stream right there. We are live at Frickers in Fremont on a Friday night. On Wednesday night. We're getting ready for Friday night. Yeah, there we go. Here on Eagle 99. Yeah, Friday night, Wednesday night, Thursday.
Yeah, it's just muscle memory for you. I'll go grab Ryan.
Okay, thanks. He's like literally right up there in the corner. On Friday night, and I guess we'll just start there. what a weird game, but you can thank your defense and your special teams for keeping
absolutely.
you in the first half.
Absolutely. Without that play in our first half, both of them, you're talking a 2-score difference right there with both the block kicks, and our defense keeping them out of the end zone and then blocking 2 field goals was huge because they really were the aggressor in that first half. And then I think we made some good adjustments in the second half, and I think we started to wear them down a little bit towards the end of that second half. I really liked our response coming out of halftime, scoring that touchdown coming out of half, and then we got to stop, and then we put together another great drive, ended up throwing an interception on the 10-yard line, but ate up some clock and ran a good drive. So pleased with how we responded in the second half, but we need to start games a little bit better.
It's strange. In back-to-back weeks, you played 2 totally polar opposite offenses. Last week it was all about ball control for Huron and a really good dual-threat quarterback.
Yeah, he's good. And I tell you what, you're absolutely right. Clock control. I felt like they were doing that on purpose.
I think so, too.
Trying to minimize the game a little bit and really used the play clock the entire time. And then they kept grinding out first downs. They'd run. We'd get them to 3rd and 7 or 8, and the quarterback could take off and get 8-9 yards, and we'd start all back over again. But our defense did a little bit better job of controlling the line of scrimmage, I felt like, in the second half, and I think that helped us.
You really dominated both sides of the ball in the second half. Offense took off. Defense was wonderful. And what's the slow start on offense? What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. We're gonna change some things up this week with some different looks to try to get us jump started a little bit earlier. Because it's so draining energy wise to have to dig out of holes and fight for to try to get back to even all the time.
Right.
I just really like to avoid that. Now the obviously the outcome you'll take, but we've even in our 3 losses this year, I felt like we've played good football. But I think that that changes a little bit as the playoffs come. And if you dig yourself in a hole, playoff football, it's pretty tough to dig yourself out.
Well, your losses have come to Division II St. Francis, Division II Sandusky, and Perkins.
Yep.
So you played some really good teams there. The week before, since I wasn't there, were you on the show last week?
I was.
Okay. Could you just explain what happened at the end of the Sandusky game real quick, maybe if they weren't listening, and for my benefit as well?
Sure. Sure. I will do my best to make it the most politically correct version as possible.
Okay, that's fine.
So we scored with they kicked a field goal with 2 minutes to play.
Okay.
And we had a nice opening play to our drive, and actually I felt like we scored too fast. We gave them too much time.
Okay.
So anyways, they came back. They were coming back the other way. They had a very good kickoff to just over midfield, and they had about 50 seconds. So hit a couple of plays. We got them to 3rd and 15, and they threw a ball. We had great pressure on the quarterback. They threw a ball up for grabs. Our safety was just running and hits him right in the chest, and we don't make that interception. And when you give a team life like that, it tends to come back and bite you. So 4th and 15, they hit a seam route on us, and I thought we were going to get him tackled short. And the Amir kid for Sandusky, great player, broke a couple tackles, and luckily we tripped him up at the 5-yard line. Clock running, 30 seconds.
Okay.
They run a play.
So it's 1st and goal at this point?
1st and goal.
Okay.
And obviously the clock stopped for that first down, but then
Right.
it started running. So 30 seconds it runs. They throw a sticks route right on the sidelines. The kid catches it, and it was right at the goal line, but the official marked him short of the end zone.
Okay.
So with 15 seconds, the clock should have been running.
Yes.
It got stopped.
Okay.
The clock stopped. So the clock operator stopped the clock. So everybody's kind of freaking out. Everybody's losing their minds, and the officials had to stop the game to reset the clock, where I feel like they were in panic mode. If they have to run a play there as time is expiring, by the time they get lined up, they're probably going to get a play off, but it's not going to be a calm down, figure out what you want to do type play. And they actually snapped it, the clock started back up, and the officials didn't know what was going on. They
jeez.
started it back up, and they snapped the ball with 4 seconds, and it kind of went up in the air. The quarterback didn't catch it. The running back caught it. He turned around, and we tackled him. So obviously the game would have been over, but they blew it dead. They had to reset the clock because it stopped, so they reset it with 4 seconds and then started it on the ready for play. But that all took time for them
And they were
to
set.
sort out. They were set.
Okay.
So were we, obviously, but
Still,
you know,
yeah.
we give the offense. And honestly, on 4th down, I'm sorry, it would have been
Second
second
down. Okay.
But with the last play of the game,
Second and goal. Yep.
we with 4 seconds, and it started as soon as he wound it. So it was the last play of the game. We did a great job. We had a defensive end come off the edge, wrap up the quarterback. No looks were there. He's spinning and just kind of throws it up.
Mm-hmm.
The running back who was blocking our defensive end kind of just turned around, and it fell in his hands in the end zone, and they won it on the last second. So it was one of those things.
Nothing you can do about it.
Nothing we can do, but we have to make our own fate on the plays before that.
Right.
When it's 3rd and 15, you got a chance to make an interception. You got to make that play.
Right.
When it's 4th and 15, you got to get them tackled before the first down to
Right.
get off the field. So we took that on us. The way the game ended was unfortunate, but obviously we could have handled our own fate, so to say.
You weren't helped. Just like
we weren't helped.
like the St. Francis thing with
Exactly.
the first
Same
down.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Same type of
yeah.
thing.
But this one really
Yeah.
cost you the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you're on. When you look at the Bay Division this year, isn't that not amazing? You got Vermilion, Huron, and
Edison.
Edison. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right.
I always keep forgetting Edison. They're the best team in the division. But those 3 teams, and those are all original SBC teams. My gosh, the SBC would be loaded this year if it was
Absolutely.
just the original 8 schools.
Absolutely.
Wow. But
And-
this has been a great year for SBC, original SBC
It
teams.
really has. I mean, honestly, you talk about there's some good football being played in the SBC right now, and I think, who knows how it's going to play out in Week 11, but I think those teams that get in have got a chance to make some noise.
Right.
I mean, you have some very good football teams that are playoff ready. They've played very good. Huron's a very good football team. They got to go to Edison this week.
Right.
Edison might be the best team in our area.
Right.
As well as they play. And then you have Perkins who, has the most talent in the area. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So I think it's been a great year for the SBC. I think hopefully we can get some teams that can make some noise in the
That
playoffs.
makes noise. That'll
Yep.
make it a great year.
Yep.
And just to think about, we're 1 week away from the playoffs. Hopewell's sitting there, and then you talked about Edison, and you got 3 really high seeds right
Yeah, you
there.
do.
But this game, the Huron-Edison game, actually is for the conference championship
Yep.
because Edison's already got a share of
Yeah.
it, but Norwalk, or I'm sorry, what did I say? Because you're playing Norwalk. But Huron, if they win, will actually have a share as well.
Yeah,
So they've got something to play for.
They
Plus, they
absolutely
need
do.
points. They need
Yeah,
computer points bad.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
when do you think that game will end? 8:45, 8:30? I mean, it'll be a quick game. I'll
And
tell you that.
you traditionally think of Huron as spread it out and throw it. They
Not
don't
anymore.
They spread it out and they run the quarterback.
Right.
So, I mean, our game with Huron was fast.
7:15, first quarter was over.
I tell you what, I felt like we had the ball 3 plays and it was halfway through the second quarter.
Right, because they took a 6-minute drive. Yeah.
We went 3 and out.
Yep.
And they took another 6-minute
Yep.
drive. I'm like, guys, we've had the ball 3 plays. The
Right.
second quarter is halfway over.
And seriously, the first quarter, I looked down, it was
Yeah.
7:15. The first quarter was over.
It was amazing. You're right.
And then it kind of slowed down toward
Yeah.
the end because of all you guys had 6 timeouts to use, and you used all 6
used
of
them
them.
all.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You got to do that. So,
Yep,
but this will be so Norwalk. When you look at them on film, Ryan, what obviously they're 2-7,
Yeah.
but they beat Start at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year, and
gotta-
I don't think Start was really that.
No, they're not. And
So
they got a Division I kid that plays wide receiver for him.
okay.
And you have to know where he's at all point in time. I mean, he's a straight line fast kid, but he's a very good football player. So if you lose track of him or he breaks a tackle, it's a touchdown.
Okay.
So, outside of that, they've had some injuries up front that I think since that Start game has hurt them. They didn't have a whole lot of depth line-wise, and I think they got a couple of those kids banged up, which has really, really hurt them. But they have explosive athletes on the outside, so, I don't know what it is, but for some reason we go to Norwalk Week 10, and they play up. They get a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Something weird.
So, and it's always a tight ball game. 2 years ago, I remember Coach Ziegler was filling in at the end of the year for them.
Yes, yep.
And they had maybe 1 win, maybe 0
They
wins.
had 0 wins, actually.
And it's 14-14 and a half.
But they played Perkins the week before. I think it was
them-
the week before.
played
They played
them
them really
tough.
tough. Yeah.
They played us tough at the
Yeah.
end of the year. So I tell our kids, you never anticipate anything from Norwalk. We got to go over there and play well.
You got to play.
And obviously, I mean, it's for some points for us. We're still
Right.
trying to figure out our seeding in our region, and obviously, the more points you can get, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, they had some tough luck between September 20th, which was week 5, 6, 7, 8. They went 4 weeks without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
So that's probably a lot of what the offensive line was. But then they put up 20 against Columbian last week. So
and you look, they went back to in that Columbian game. I've watched it a couple times this week, but they went back to they ran a quarterback. They ran number 1 for them. Their tailback's a nice player, and they did some base stuff that really affected Tiffin. So it looked like they kind of went back and tried to simplify things for their kids, and their kids started playing fast and aggressive again. So it'll be a challenge for us. I guarantee it. We're gonna have to go over there, and we're gonna have to play well.
Keith Mora is the head coach. Is he in his second year now?
Yeah,
over
second
there?
or third. I tell you what, I like Keith. He's doing a heck of a job. It's a tough situation right now. A tough situation he came into over there. They had a bunch of turmoil going on, but he's a good man. He's a good football coach, and I think he'll do good things for him.
Yeah, they've just had some things go on over there.
Yeah, they
but
have.
They need somebody to come in. It looks like he's kind of righted the
Yeah,
ship
he
a little
is.
bit. And
He's calmed him down, which is the step number 1 in a situation like that.
it's got to be hard for some of these, the programs when they go through, because, Norwalk for so long just had not won anything, and
Yep.
then. Who was the coach that came? The really big guy. He came in and they changed the schedule around, and then they started winning games. But anyway,
McFarland.
yes, thank you,
McFarland.
Coach McFarland.
Yes.
And then he went
He took another
10-0
job.
one week?
Yeah, something
one
like
year or something, but he actually turned the program
that.
around. So
We actually, that year they went 10-0. We beat them in the playoffs.
Oh, is that okay?
Yes. Then the second or third round of the playoffs up
Okay.
at Perkins. They had a kid that went to Eastern Michigan, that running back. Can't think of
Yes.
his name, but heck of a team they had back then.
But some of those too, if I remember right, were some of those basketball athletes
Yep.
that
Got some of them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
Norwalk's a big expanding place, and a lot of people are moving in there, but you got to get them all to go out and play, and I
Mm-hmm. Right.
think that's part of it.
And of course, you can say some schools are a football school and some schools are a basketball school.
Exactly right.
Well, we know that they've been really good at basketball.
Yeah, they have.
So,
They have.
so anyway, the Truckers on Friday night
Yep.
will be there on 92.1 The Wolf.
Awesome.
So you obviously look at the computer point
Sure.
situation, but so you win. You were at 8. You go all the way to 5, and then you look here and it says with Joe Idle, you'll be anywhere from 4 to 12.
That is exactly right. And I think, win or lose, is going to really hinge off of that. And then what do our other teams do that we have beat? And then what do the other teams that are behind us, their teams do? Because we're all kind of packed in their same point value.
Right.
So it hinges off of, you got to win. You got to take care of your own business first, what you control. And we control our game. And then, you start scoreboard watching and see if the teams that you played and have beaten get some wins for you.
Well, Huron win would be kind of nice for
That
you.
would be very nice.
over
That'd be very
Edison
nice, so.
because they're going to get a lot of points.
Anybody that
Yeah.
can win for us would be nice.
So you are you're fans of teams you have already played this week.
Absolutely.
That's your whole thing, right?
Yes.
And then you just let the chips. Because we were talking the year you went and won the state championship, you barely made it into the
we
playoffs.
were the 8 seed. We were the lowest. That was when they took 8.
All right.
We were the lowest seed possible.
And the year before, this is the funniest thing.
Yeah.
You were Division III. You were the 1 seed.
And
You
we got
lost
beat
in the first round.
the Rocky River. Yep.
And people don't remember
You
that.
had to
the
bring
next
that
year.
one up, did you?
No, well,
We could have just stuck with the state title
no,
here.
Ryan, what
I'm
I'm
just
just
kidding.
trying to
I'm just
explain that you just never know from year to year.
That's exactly
like,
right.
It's because you had a really
We
good
did.
team that year.
We did.
You were the one. I think you were close to 10-0. I can't remember.
We went to Norwalk and won the league on the last play of the game on a 2-point conversion. And then they came back and beat us the next year, and where we didn't get a 2-point.
You know what's
conversion.
funny? You know why I remember that game? Brad Bannister, I think, made his
Yeah.
debut
Probably
at that
sounds
game.
about right. Yep.
Yeah, so that's why I do remember that. So.
The Deuce on the radio.
The
We
Deuce.
miss him.
Yeah. Well, and I guess he's not going to do basketball with
Oh,
me.
he's not?
So
You
I
know
was
what?
kind of hoping he would. But
Brad's getting to that point where Brad's
I
going to
know.
go vacation and Brad's going to take some time off,
I
and I don't
thought-
blame him one bit.
I thought Mike would at least do 1 year with me. But, yeah, he didn't like me enough. He had to leave me too. No, Mike and I
Yeah.
are fine.
No,
but
no, no, I
They've
know.
both been doing it for so
Great
long.
guys.
Yeah.
Great guys.
That people don't realize that when you do the radio thing on the side. Like you're taking away from your families on
exactly
Friday nights, and it's a big.
It's a lot.
It's not. Coaching is a really big commitment, but you miss all the good stuff because you're gone on Friday, Saturday nights.
That's exactly right.
So, yeah, you can see why people do it for a couple of years and then they get out.
I don't blame them one bit.
So we're scoreboard watching this week, but the main thing is Clyde is at Norwalk. We'll have the game on 92-1 the Wolf, and then the playoffs in 2 weeks. And, of course, we can announce we'll have Clyde in 2 weeks, and most likely a home game.
Yeah, so it looks like it. According to Fantastic 50, we're about at 99% chance for a home game. So it looks like it, but heck, you never know. We'll figure it out on Friday night. I got some guys on my staff that love to delve into those numbers, so we'll figure it out late Friday night and see where we're at Saturday morning.
I just hope it's not one of those where we have to wait for somebody to play on Saturday.
Looking at all the games that affect us, I don't see any Saturday games that are going to affect us.
Okay,
but heck, you never know.
So by Saturday morning, we should
know.
have a clear.
Yep.
So for you, we'll talk about you as a coach. So once you have that opponent, it's so much easier in the old days where you had to track down film, because as long as they share the film with you on Huddle and you share your film with them, you're good to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you know, you can request the games that you want and you have them immediately. So we've already started to look at the opponents that we think we might play and see who they've played and what their scores have been. So we've kind of already started that process a little bit, but you can't hone it in until you really know who you have.
No.
So
yeah, and it's also a little easier, like say you're in the first round and you know if you win, you only got 2 teams to scout for the next week,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Where here you're like 5 or 6 teams you might be scouting.
There's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, because you don't know where the heck you're going to be.
That's exactly right.
I think we know for sure, though. We look at the top 3 teams, Perkins, Shelby,
and Ontario.
Yeah,
they're about as good as it gets.
Teams right
it's
there.
About as good as it gets. And Ontario's only loss is to Shelby.
Okay, that's what I figured.
It was like 50-35 last week. It was a very high-scoring, great game.
Have you watched DeVito and Shelby play at all?
I have. You talk about they are dynamic at the quarterback position, and Shelby is always very well coached. We have ran into them a couple of times in the playoffs and had
COVID year.
Had monumental games with them.
Yep.
So we know if we're fortunate enough to see them somewhere down the road, it's going to be a battle.
Well, the one good thing is if you go to Shelby, it won't be the dump it used to be.
It will not be because the last time we played
was there.
COVID year, they beat us. And it was like a 3rd round playoff game, 3rd or 4th, and they were still hosting.
Yes.
Because it was COVID year.
Yes.
There wasn't a neutral site.
Correct.
And it rained in that field. You know how it was when it rained.
Floods.
We're standing in water on the sidelines.
Right.
It was
and Ryan,
not a good experience.
If you've probably seen the new facility.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So we were over there for Bellevue.
I haven't been there, but I've seen it.
Yeah, we actually had our own radio booth.
Oh.
Like you guys have. They have their own booths over there. So if we do end up going over there, we're okay. But that DeVito kid, my point is we've seen him firsthand.
Yes.
He's a stud.
He's dynamic.
So So Shelby and Perkins are totally different because Perkins, they beat you with the athletes around Sam.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Where Shelby beat you with DeVito.
Yes.
So that's 2 different ways.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And Ontario's got the Buckeye. The kid that plays quarterback for
I
them
have not
Ohio
seen
State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 3 really good teams at the top.
Absolutely.
But we won't worry about them until we have to.
Well, let's hope.
Yes. Yeah, you got to win.
You got to win
1 week at a time.
That's exactly right.
All right, Ryan, we'll see you over at Norwalk on Friday night.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, the game's going to be on 92-1 the Wolf, of course, and we'll have a playoff game for the Flyers here in 2 weeks as well here on 92-1 the Wolf. All right, when we come back, we'll talk some Fremont Ross football. Chad Long will join us, and we'll wrap up the show talking Fremont Ross football, and we invite you into Frickers here in Fremont. It is Wednesday night. The steak deal is all the rage. You can have a steak dinner tonight for just $7.99. Includes a side and a roll. Tomorrow night's the chicken chunks dinner for $7.99. It's all here at Frickers in Fremont. And I haven't mentioned this yet. Kids eat free. That's right. As long as the adults pay for their meal, kids eat free. So you can bring the kids and eat pretty cheap and really well right here, Frickers in Fremont. We'll come back with head coach Chad Long, the Fremont Ross Little Giants right after this. You're listening to the Frickers of Fremont High School Football Coaches Show on Eagle 99. You can watch our show every week. Just go to the Eagle 99 Facebook page and click on the link there to watch the live stream. I do want to mention we have Fremont Ross at Bowling Green coming up Friday night on Eagle 99. We're going to talk Ross football right now with head coach Chad Long. And Chad, big game last Friday, and boy, 56-6. So you put on some points last week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But offensively, you've been coming on the last several weeks anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Carson's really figuring out the offense, and we're able to work on our passing game. And it's our running game's been there for most of every game. So it's trying to create and develop the passing game in order to win games down the road, hopefully in the playoffs here coming up.
Yeah, once you knew you got into actual conference play, you knew you'd be fine, and that's the case, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, we just had to be healthy. I mean, we were banged up from Perrysburg game through
and that was week 3,
Whitmer
by the
and
way.
Fenley. Yeah. So getting Zaylen back was a big thing for us.
So let's talk about the win over Waite. You put up 56 points. Obviously, probably everybody who dressed got to play on Friday night.
Yeah.
How nice was that, though, to just have a game? Because you haven't had one of those this year where
No.
it was just knocked out once you start put up a couple points. So.
Yeah, we had a feeling that we're going to be able to get, and it's rewarding for those kids who sit here and practice and have to be on scout team the whole year against our varsity team. And it's rewarding for us as coaches to see kids actually get to go out there and play. But it's also rewarding for them because it's a long season and they get banged up as well.
Right. So
it's nice to reward these kids with the opportunity to get under the lights and actually play.
And a home game.
And the score obviously could be way worse than what it was.
Of course, yeah. Well, people think when you was it North Ridgeville we beat 72-0 in that playoff?
That was North
Royalton.
Royalton.
North Royalton, yeah. That game could have been 170,000 to nothing. You did everything not to score, and you still scored 72 points.
I know.
And that was a playoff game.
I know. You kind of feel bad for some of those teams that you have to face like that.
Right.
And, you got to look at it, me being an opposing coach against them. Like, you want to respect the game, and you want to respect the players in the school that they play for. And, not everyone's given the perfect situation. And like Toledo Waite, where I did my student teaching at Toledo Scott.
Oh,
so
Scott. Okay.
not at Waite, but at Scott, and they're very similar.
Oh yeah.
80% of those kids work full-time jobs. Mm-hmm. They don't live at home.
Right.
They live on their own. So there's no priority no parents. So there's no priority on sports.
Yeah.
It's more surviving. And I feel for those kids, but they were having fun, and then you'd never want to see it once the running clock was going, and there's like 5 consecutive plays. One of their players got hurt.
Are you serious? In a running clock?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it really stinks to see because you're like, okay, you only have 24 kids over there.
And you got another week to go.
Yeah.
Luckily, they'll be back in the Citadel League this week, but
I think they got Woodward, so they haven't won since 2019.
Both that'll be a good game on Friday. 0-9 for both of them.
Yeah.
Because I was looking here, Woodward is 0-9. So, you got Bowling Green this week. Pretty good team. They're 6-3. It's the Bobcats, right? I always want to call them the Falcons, obviously. You went to BG, but not there. Not that
the
Bowling
university.
Green. Yeah,
the university.
So the Bobcats, they come in 6-3, and looking at they're pretty much like you. Their league wins are against everybody but Clay.
Yeah. I mean, this is truly the battle for second place. Mm-hmm. They had a really close game against Clay. They're a well-improved team. They got a new head coach, and he's doing a very good job with the program. They are definitely better than what they were last year. And I say that's kudos to the new coach and what he has the kids believe in, and being 6-3 is really a great achievement for them.
Hey, what's happened to Springfield? Because here's why I ask.
Yeah.
My first game doing Fremont Ross football was at Springfield. They had such a good program back then. And ever since then, they've just kind of fallen off. And I know they've had some coaching changes over the years.
Yeah. What was it? Garducci or
Garducci or something.
yeah,
like that?
something like that.
I
I mean, he was a long reigning coach there and a heck of a coach.
And that
He's
was the last
actually
time we played them, right?
and he is now the offense coordinator at Toledo Whitmer now.
oh, I see. Okay.
So, I mean, and they're having a lot of success as well. So, I mean, the guy is such a great offensive-minded guy. They've had a lot of changes in their coaching staff over the years, and Springfield still has athletes. I mean, they definitely have athletes. It's just they don't have the kids out that they used to have, and I think some of the good kids that they may have are being pulled to go to other schools.
Okay. Well, a lot of tampering goes on up there, so you have good athletes.
Always in Toledo.
They still have the blue turf. I know it was like the end of it when we were up there that year because it was pretty bad shape. But
I'm not sure. I think they got the blue end zones and stuff
Okay.
like that still,
Well,
yes.
sort of blue when we were like, it was at the end of that turf's life when we were there.
Yeah.
When you guys played them.
Yeah, but I don't like playing against Springfield. We had a
that
bad
was pretty good
experience.
that last
That
game
was-
but
that was,
overall the series was okay for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was just ridiculous.
It was just bittersweet.
Just to remind people, because they probably have no idea what we're talking about. But so my first game doing Fremont Ross football in the 5 years I did it was Ross at Springfield. And so this would be Hayden, what's the last name? Lehman, quarterback.
Caleb Wood
You got,
and Garrett Snyder and all them.
McKinstry.
Yeah.
It's really good guys, right?
Yeah.
And we're pretty much beating them pretty good in the first half.
Yeah.
And then they started bringing on second half.
Yeah, they had a really good running back that went to Toledo.
Right. But
and
anyway,
played.
so we're going down to score, and there's 2.8 seconds. I got that right, didn't I? I still
Yeah.
remember this. 2.8 seconds, and they call timeout. We're on the 2-yard line, and I think McKinstry caught the ball, and they said he didn't get out of bounds, correct?
Something. I don't even know.
Okay.
They signaled out of bounds, but it was unclear.
Yes. But
And
then they
said
stopped the game.
They stopped the game, and then they called it. And
After,
we were
well, it took
at
20 minutes, though.
yeah.
So 20 minutes later, they literally go in the end zone, the officials. They're in the end zone just talking. And then they come out and they're like, game's over. Ross cannot do another play because they don't have enough time. Right? Isn't that
Yeah.
what they said? And
Yeah.
then the game was over. But
Yep.
2.8 seconds should
Never
be
seen it in
enough
my
time
life.
to spike the ball. But anyway, that was just a weird and very just one of those
Strange.
things. Strange, yes. But when you coach football long enough, then you're going to have a lot of those situations.
Listen,
So-
I've had many of them.
Yes.
We could go to the Finley game
Oh my
as
God,
well.
yes,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
back-to-back years at
Yeah.
with Finley.
yeah.
So it's just fun. That's why we coach. That's why we broadcast. That's why we're fans.
You see all the gray hairs I have, right?
I know.
All right,
You're
that's
getting-
because
yeah.
of.
You're like me. You get them here first. The
I
kids
get
give
'em
you
all
in the
over.
beard, though. That's where
Yeah.
they get you. And kids get you in the beard first. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad, Chad, that things are looking up here. So 3 out of 4. So a win over Bowling Green. What would that do for your playoff stock?
It's kind of up in the air. I don't know. We could go as high if we beat Bowling Green. We could go as high as 11. I still honestly believe we'll sit at 13.
That's where you're thinking.
I honestly think we'll be at 13. But there's some teams that got beat last week. Like Olmsted Falls got beat, and Olmsted Falls is probably going to lose again this week, and they're going to drop. And then there was North Olmsted Falls that beat a team that I was shocked they beat, and they jumped ahead of us. So it's kind of like all over the place. My opinion, I do want to stay away from Avon and Medina Highland.
Obviously, yes.
And
We've been to both those places.
yes, we have. I would like to play Wadsworth, so I hope we
Okay.
go 13. Wadsworth would be at 4.
Well, that would set up perfectly because Wadsworth's 4 right
Yeah.
now, and
Yep.
they're 4 points ahead of the 5th place. So it looks like they're pretty much in on that 4 spot.
Yeah,
So
yeah, they're probably going to end up being 10-0, and
they could jump to 3 though.
yeah,
Who's Anthony Wayne have this week? Do you know?
Perrysburg.
Okay, that'd be a good one.
That'd be a great one. I have a lot of respect for Perrysburg, but
Do you think Anthony Wayne's
Wayne,
better?
yeah, Anthony Wayne has
They're
had
9-0 right now.
They've had Perrysburg's number here lately, so I would think Anthony Wayne would win that.
And Anthony Wayne is Division 2, obviously, because they're in your region, and
Yep.
I'm assuming Perrysburg is Division 1 then, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Yeah. So of the teams you play to start the year, almost every single one's Division One then, right? So
well,
Columbian no, but
Columbian's 3,
Sandusky's 2,
Sandusky's 2,
Perrysburg's
Perrysburg 1, Whitmer 1, Findlay 1,
That's so there. Those three.
Napoleon's 4, Clay's 2.
I made a mention that I didn't realize Sandusky's up to 2.
Yeah, they moved up this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I said to Nick, it's funny, all those people that didn't want Ross in the SBC, and now Sandusky's Division 2. Huh, funny how that works out.
Yeah.
I'm just, just hypocrisy. I like to bring it out every once in a while. But
It'd have brought a good gate if we were over there.
oh, my
in
God,
the SBC.
think of every week would
Yeah.
be wonderful.
Well,
yeah.
it is what it is. We enjoy the conference that we're in. It's a classy conference.
No, this is great for
Love
you
the
now.
conference, yeah.
I like this one better for you, except I don't like the whole split thing for football, but what are you going to do? It's the day and age we live in.
Yeah, I definitely don't like the 3 crossover games right in a row. That's where we get beat up so much, and then we actually go in. And I know there's going to be changes moving forward.
Oh, good. They are going to
with the crossover games, maybe every other week now instead of how it was.
When you play 3 Division I teams and you're a small Division II school,
yeah,
you can get banged up pretty easily.
Yeah, I think we're like 27 kids, boys
from 3.
3, yeah. Yep.
So, wow, that's crazy when you think about it like that.
But hey, I don't mind playing Whitmer, and I don't mind playing Findlay. We always play them
anyway.
But the brutal is playing Perrysburg, so that's where we get beat up the most.
Is that the biggest school you play, Perrysburg?
Yeah, they're about 3 times the size of us.
Are they really that
Whitmer's
big? Wow.
about the same, and Findlay's probably two times the size of us.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I will say Findlay does. The one thing about Findlay, they do have great facilities over there.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, they always have a good quarterback as well.
Well, that's because they start as a freshman and they play 4 years. It just seems like they're there forever.
I know. They got one now.
Oh, jeez. And they just lost one.
Well, they lost Montgomery, but then they started
the new one's
a
freshman now,
quarter.
right? And he's probably a 5-star, too.
Yeah, he will be.
Is Montgomery a 4 or 5-star?
Actually, the freshman quarterback, I believe, has already been offered by Toledo.
Already?
Yeah, at quarterback. But I heard he's definitely a baseball guy. He can throw 90 mile an hour in baseball.
I was actually talking with Eli Sanchez today. He's a lineman at Perkins.
Yeah.
And being recruited very heavily, right? And just
I think he just got an offer from
Virginia. Don't sell my story.
Oh, you already know. All right.
Like, I'm a building sub at Perkins.
Oh.
So I see these kids all the time. So anyway, I was like, oh, so tell me about your offers, Eli. And he's like, every MAC school. And he said, oh, I just got offered from Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So you're starting to see some of the bigger schools come in on him at this point.
Well, I mean,
linemen are different,
you look at the talent at Sandusky Perkins.
Yeah.
Jalen has done an awesome job getting kids that come there, play there. They're not all Perkins that, they don't all live there.
Right.
They move in type stuff. But, he has 5 guys that are D1, big D1.
Well,
not
so
MAC
Mikey,
schools, big D1s.
Right. Well, Mikey, of course, is the smartest, Mikey Young.
Yeah.
He's going to Harvard.
Yeah.
Braylon's going to Michigan State. I think Eli will end up going big-time Division I.
Yeah, if I was him, I would definitely take a good hard look at Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
That's
but more
place.
offers are just going to keep coming in at this
Oh, for
point.
sure. Yeah.
So linemen are a little different than skill guys.
So, and I'll say this with Sanchez kid. He's had some rough go in the last year with mom passing away and stuff. So
of course, right during the state wrestling tournament.
So I teach with Diana McNaughty, Sam McNaughty, who's in the Air Force. Did play football and then too many concussions, but she lives in Perkins Township and all that stuff, and she has told me like how Sanchez is like with his mom passing away. So I'm happy for the kid that he just didn't give up on everything, and he has goals and aspirations, and it's nice to see him.
He's such a great
be
kid.
Successful.
Puts a big smile on my face every day.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah. Well, I also I coach our Special Olympics team.
Okay.
And some of the football players help out with that, and Eli's one of them that helps me coach, actually.
All right.
Him and Connor Smith, who is a sophomore running back for Perkins. So it's kind of fun to see that they get to interact with our kids, and it's just fun. I've really enjoyed that. We just finished up football season last week. We went 10-0-1, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Good for you.
And then basketball starts in a couple weeks here, so we'll take some time off, But anyway, it's a lot of fun. But, when you have these athletes who are – what's that like as a coach when you have a really good athlete who's being recruited? What is your role in all that?
my role is I don't care what university, is coming in. I treat them all with respect, and whether it's a D1, D2, D3, NAI, it doesn't matter to me. My goal is, and my job at Fremont is to get these kids to go on and play. If they have an aspiration to want to play, I will do everything in my power to get them where they want to go. Obviously, a lot of kids have these great ideas at their D1.
But that's not reality.
That's not
for
reality.
a lot of kids. Yes.
However, we got a lot of kids that are playing Division III. We got kids playing Division II. We got kids playing Division I. To me, it's rewarding to see a kid happy, smiling, knowing that they get to go play at the next level. And it doesn't matter to me what level, as long as they're playing and getting out of Fremont and going and get an education somewhere.
Right.
That's all I really care about. It's not about the money. It's about the rewards of having to help kids, and one of the big things that we started creating when I first took over is we got to be student athletes.
Mm-hmm.
So, the last
Not just athletes.
not just athletes.
Right.
So, you got to set it up with your academics first in order to even think about going to college to play football. And that's one of the things we've been working on. In the last 2 years, we've been Academic All-Ohio, which
That's
is unheard
wonderful.
of.
Yes.
Yeah. And last year, we had a grade point team average of a 3.81.
Right.
So,
Which is probably highest in the track. Well, you weren't in the track last year, but
yeah.
I know Cahill used to always have by far the highest GPA in the track.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So it's always rewarding in that. I enjoy the process. It's a process. There's always going to be coaches coming in and talking. But
you bring up a good point. It's not always about the Eli's of the world. You got your kids you play Division I football, Bowling Green. I play Division III baseball.
Yeah.
So there's kids of all skill levels that are going to play, but it's important to all of them to get the experience. Now Division III recruiting is a little different, but 2 and 1 is 3. 3's unless you're talking the Mount Unions of the world, you know what I mean? Division III, just kind of, hey, coach, I'm kind of interested, you know what I mean? But
So, I mean, you have those good programs like Mount Union. Heidelberg's usually a pretty good D3 school. And even Trine's always been very successful. And, if kids want to play, I ask them, do you have any aspirations, want to play? If you say yes, I'll find you a place.
That's wonderful.
And that's good. And
the good thing is you get to watch him play.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed watching Dontrez when I get to watch him.
Yeah.
And so I was working in Cleveland in radio for a year before I came back here on a part-time basis. And the one night I was running the Kent State radio network, and I was telling the guys about Dontrez. I was like, hey, this kid's from Fremont Ross. He's was my favorite Little John. I was giving a little, and he actually brought that up on the broadcast. I want you to know, Dontrez, something happened. He went out of the game right now after we made a tackle.
Yeah.
So I felt horrible, but anyway, it's not like he was hurt, But So
it was neat because we had Johan Silver.
Yes.
He also kicked for Kent State.
I remember. Yeah.
You had Dontrez, and Dontrez been playing, it seems like, for 10 years at Bowling Green.
Well,
but it was the COVID.
I know. They got the extra
year.
But,
it's great for him to still be able to do what he loves. He's able to pick up. I think he's going to have a master's degree, and he's already graduated. And
we talked about it. He's on a video game. We talked about that last time.
Yeah. So
did you ever, by the way, bring out your old video game? You were going to do that.
No, I know. I never did.
Because Chad's on one of the last versions of NCAA before the new one came out. What year did you graduate, BG?
2001, I believe.
Okay. So yours, though, would just have your number. It wouldn't have your name.
Yeah, it wouldn't have the
Where
name.
his actually says his name on the back and the whole thing.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of neat.
It's crazy. And do you know if he's getting any
I'm not
money?
sure. That I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Most of the MAC schools, it's
low.
They have something. It's very low.
Okay.
Even like schools like the big universities like Toledo, they don't.
Not a lot of NIL, huh?
No, not really. And we have Bryson Hammer, who's top 5 in the nation in punt returns that plays over in Toledo, and then Caden Holmes that's over there playing as well. So I don't know. They probably don't talk about that much, or at least tell me anything
They don't say
about
anything to it. Okay.
But I'm sure they get something. Not much, though.
Well, you think a little something. At least it's all above board now.
I wish
right?
they had that stuff when I played.
Yeah, so you went to Bowling Green, so you didn't see that side of it. But everything you heard about college football before, are we saying a lot of that's true with the recruiting and
Like how they recruit guys now? Before,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
There
side
was a
door.
little- yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
what
there's some side door stuff.
Yeah.
Boosters are obviously always beneficial. I
Right.
mean, you have your things, and it was happening. Like Johnny Manziel said.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Coach, I'd stay if you give me $2 million. I think that's what his dad said.
See, the funny thing is now with NIL, he could stay.
Now he could, yeah.
See, like Caitlin Clark, she could actually play, and she probably would have been
Made
better
more
off
money
staying
staying
in
in-
Iowa.
yeah.
And she would have not been poked in the eye and punched and everything else like
It's
she has been in
it's
the
like Marvin Harrison. I think they said something about he was along the lines of $9 or $11 million he was making at Ohio State.
Yeah, Caitlin's making a boatload of money. Not Livy Dunn money, but
Oh,
close
it's
to
it's
it.
all hers is all endorsements
Right.
and all that
Well,
stuff.
she had that Nike deal in college.
Yeah.
Which was, well, they've redone it, but I think it was pretty good. It wasn't Wemby money, but it was
Yeah.
pretty good. So.
She's a special
She'll
player.
be okay. Well,
She
see,
is
that's
a
the thing.
special.
Okay, if I don't care if you know basketball or not, watch her play a whole game and tell me she's not one of the most transcendent players you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's not shooting. It's how she passes the basketball. She can get anybody the ball in any spot and have them score.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And her first couple games in the WNBA, she was hitting people upside the head because they didn't know you need to be looking for the ball at all times. You
Yeah.
watch those Iowa girls; they're always ready for the ball
Yeah.
because they know it's coming.
Yeah.
She's just the most transcendent
See,
player.
and, and a lot of people perceive her as the scorer,
and
but
that's
she's
she
an all
scored.
around
Yes.
basketball player.
If
so
you know how they say five-tool baseball player, like she would be a five, whatever
Yeah.
in basketball, because
Yeah.
she can do it all.
Yeah.
And she also had like 7 rebounds a game.
Yeah.
She averaged nearly a triple-double in the WNBA.
crazy, and
It is
she's a
amazing.
rookie.
And she's a rookie, and she's going to make a lot of money in her.
She'll have a nice, long, successful career.
I think selfishly, I would have been nice for her to go back to Iowa because I think people the ratings would have been through the roof to watch her play. I don't think anyone. Well, they didn't win the championship yet.
No,
Because didn't South Carolina won it last
Yeah.
year? So and
Yep.
the year before it was Angel Reese and
Yep.
LSU.
LSU.
So and now she's out of the WNBA because she took steroids or something.
Yeah.
My God,
Yeah.
that's a mess. How can you lose? How can you have Caitlin Clark and you still lose $40 million? And they still play. That's the point. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
They're doing something wrong with the advertisement or
Well,
whatever else they got
And
going
with her
on there.
now, they should be able to make some money, at least while she's in the league. You would think.
I would think so, but there's a lot. They need to take a really good look at what the NBA does and
Right.
kind of, and it's a start.
Yeah.
They've been.
Well, they're also going to get Paige Beckers this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Paige is coming out of UConn this year. So there's some more girls coming.
Okay.
So it's not like it's going to end here. I think college basketball is going to be fine for a while anyway.
Yeah.
Women's college basketball.
Yeah.
It's funny how women's college basketball does better than men's college basketball, but that's the way it is.
There's more
so.
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like better quality teams.
More quality. So
teams.
you've got 20 teams that can beat up on each other, where in the men it's like 2 or 3 really
Yep.
good teams and everybody else.
Yeah.
So. All right, real quick, Friday night, Ross on the road at Bowling Green, big game. And you'll hear it on Eagle 99 with Tim and Scott this week, right? Tim and Scott will be on the game. So, well, Chad, good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll have you next week for the playoff preview show. So a nice win and hopefully get up a couple spots and not
what
go
we're
to
hoping.
Avon,
Or
Medina. Those are the two.
Yep.
You don't want to go there.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been there too many times.
Yes,
so.
we have.
All right. Ross, Friday night, they'll take on Bowling Green. You'll hear it on Eagle 99. All right, thanks, Chad.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
buddy.
All right. I'll wrap things up. Go ahead and you can put that down. Thank you. All righty. Let me tell you what's happening on the BAS Sports Network before we get out of here on this Friday night at Frickers in Fremont. So Friday night, we told you on Eagle 99, it's Ross at Bowling Green. On 92.1 The Wolf, Nick and I will have Clyde at Norwalk. And then on Coast Country 100.9 Friday night, it's Edison at Huron. What a great game. The SBC River division has been phenomenal this year. They've had a lot of great games. And then, of course, Perkins will wrap up their regular season. They've actually already won the Lake Division title. So they'll play Columbian on Friday. And then Hopewell will be at Calvert. Hopewell is also wrapped up, I believe, at least a share of the River Division. Gibsonburg has the one loss. So Calvert could actually give Gibsonburg a share of the title should they upset Hopewell on Friday. But at Hopewell, they're a really, really good football team. And then on Saturday, it's Toledo Christian at St. Mary's Central Catholic. So that's going to do it here from Frickers in Fremont. Thanks to Aiden Klein back at the studio. Thanks to my partner Nick Roth here joining me on the broadcast, also doing the video here tonight from Frickers. And we want to thank all of our coaches who joined us on the broadcast here tonight. We talked St. Joe football with Josh Waring to start. Then Nick joined me for the playoff breakdown. Ryan Carter of Clyde and Chad Long of Fremont Ross to finish off the broadcast here tonight. Frickers, great place to be tonight. Their steak special, $7.99, sirloin steak, side, and a roll. And then tomorrow night is the chicken chunk dinner for $7.99 here at Frickers. That'll wrap it up for a Friday night. Or why do I keep saying it's Friday night? I don't know. I'm ready for Friday night. But anyway, we'll have Clyde Norwalk on the Wolf, and on Eagle 99, it'll be Ross and Bowling Green. And thanks for joining me here tonight on Frickers of Fremont High School Football Coaches Show. We'll be back next week for Week 10 wrap-up and the playoff preview here on Eagle 99.